What's up, the Astro Tea Podcast? It's your girl, Supernovajazz. We're back again with an amazing episode. I have an amazing guest here, as always. If you're new here, I just want to let you know that the Astro Tea Podcast is a safe space where we talk about astrology, where we talk about breaking barriers, and where we talk about creating our own lives. And where we talk about creating our own lives and manifesting the best reality possible. I'm Supernovajazz, but here we have FiNessa, better known as FiNessa.
Okay,
because she is the FiNessa, but the good kind of way.
Exactly. Finessing is not a bad thing.
Yes.
I always emphasize that.
FiNessa is a visual artist, she's a music artist, and honestly, I feel like you're just here to help people feel and express. She's naturally from Jersey and Boston.
Born in Boston.
I'm
Born in Boston.
gonna let you take it away, girl.
Well,
Let
yeah.
the people know.
Well, I was born in Boston. I grew up in Jersey, and then I went back to Boston to get a little shaping, and then I had to get out of there because we're not doing the cold no more. No more snow for me. Bikinis only. Thank you.
Thank you. You can always go back and visit, right?
I mean, yeah, but every time I go, I feel like I can be there for 3 days, and then I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go back home.
It's time.
Like, my home now is Florida. I love it.
Wow. And you moved here in 2020. She's a 2020 implant.
Yes, right. Smack dab in that pandemic, baby girl.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people who moved during that time. Mm-hmm. Was it in the middle of the pandemic or like right before?
It was like, so I moved in August.
Okay, so it's kind of like
yeah, so it was like transitioning from like everybody being on lockdown and we were able to do more stuff. But I had to get up out of there. I think that's what really pushed me to move, because I was like, if I can't control my life and I can get my freedom literally stripped from me at any time like this, like I got to start taking my shit serious and controlling the shit that I can't control. But yeah, I think that's what really did it for me, because I was like, I gotta control my life and take this shit serious.
Honestly.
Anything can happen at any moment.
Yeah, and that really was the time and era where we felt like least out of control. I felt like before the pandemic, I had so much, I was taking all these risks, right? Which is the title of this episode, Take Risk or Die. Or I felt so stagnant. Like being stagnant for me felt like dying. So I really commend you for using that time and space to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. Because most people waited.
Yeah.
They waited. And speaking about doing what you wanna do, you do have a single out. It's called Whatever.
I do. Yeah. I get whatever I like, whatever I want, whatever I say I do. It's out on all platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is, go listen to it. It's a punk rock song, so it's a little different, but everybody can relate to it. I'm sure. I mean, and it's super catchy. Like y'all gonna fuck with it. I know you.
Girl, I sing that song in the shower.
Oh my god, my friend actually called me and told me that she was singing it.
Whatever I want, whatever. It's so nostalgic too. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. And okay, but what made you choose that? Like whatever, do whatever you want. Just like the like feeling free with coming from like a rock genre. That's how you feel, right? You're like,
right.
I'm a badass. So why did you pick that versus typical like twerking, shake your ass, do whatever you want type of vibe too?
Right. I can definitely do the shaking my ass twerking.
Right.
Like, I've done that before. But I just felt like, well, especially in the time where I even thought about the song, I was listening to so many different like genres of music. I've been introduced to like so many different genres. And there's a song by Veruca Salt called, I think it's called Seether.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to check that. But I think it's called Seether. And I fell in love with it. And it just gave me that like teen angst feeling of just like, you know what? I can literally just do whatever. And like, I know that I'm talented. I'm not to
that you are.
Boast, but I can literally do any genre, whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna make a rock song. And that, even just the way I did that, coming up with the hook, like, I'm gonna get whatever I like, whatever I want, whatever I say I do. I literally, that was my whole mentality.
Right.
Even just making that song.
This song is gonna say I'm gonna do whatever I want. And I think it's all about action. And she's a Virgo, y'all.
I definitely am. Big Virgo.
Big Virgo. And what I love about you as a Virgo is you do take a lot of action.
Yeah.
Just mercurial energy, period, which is Virgo energy, Gemini energy. I would say like that mercurial energy really is like up here. What keeps you making sure that you keep all your ideas in motion? Do you feel like you keep all your ideas in motion, or?
It's a struggle sometimes. It's definitely not easy for me because, I mean, I feel like I try to keep a consistent rate of something happening, but I have a lot of ideas that come that I might start working on, I'll stop. Like, I have paintings that need to be finished still from years. You know, or, you know, there's content ideas that I have that I might not act on sometimes, but I definitely just try to keep something in motion. So it's definitely a struggle to stay motivated all the time for me. Like, and I work on it, and I admire those people that can get up on those days that they're not motivated and they can get up and still fight through it, because my body will win. I will be like, I don't want to do this, and I'm gonna be like, I ain't doing it.
You have to listen to your body. I feel like sometimes we work ass backwards when we force ourselves, and then sometimes it is necessary to be like, listen, you can't like not do something just because you don't feel like it every single time. Get up. And like 9 times out of 10, when I'm forcing myself to do something, it's helping me get out of my comfort zone, which I feel like is a reason why we don't take risks, right? We want things in the realm of our comfort. We want to make sure that we can also control. If anybody, well, nobody knows because you're just meeting you, but FiNessa is also a Scorpio moon and a Scorpio rising. So I don't know if you know, but Scorpios have control issues as well. It's a very emotional control type of thing, right? Where Virgo is like, it's more like a, oh, does it look good control? And then Scorpio's like, that doesn't feel like it looks good. You get what I'm saying? Like, or like, because I want to feel empowered, and because I feel like I'm not, because I don't know this new realm, which is logical. We're not going to know everything we want to do off the bat. You are a student before you can be a teacher and before you can be a master. And I think we just sometimes got to humble ourselves to like really own that student era. Yeah, I feel like our generation, we have a very strong sense of knowing ourselves. We're very egotistical in a good way, right? We need ego to show up. But I feel like sometimes we don't like to take risk in looking stupid. And I want to kind of get into why we don't take risk.
Okay.
And a lot of us just don't want to look stupid, right? No. They don't want the kids, like, and even like take it back to high school. We're carrying way too much a group of people that we'll probably never see again.
Right.
What they think.
Right.
Like, why? You're never going to see these people again. Kind of like you performed. You went to New York, right?
I did. I performed for the first time ever, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous leading up to it, and then once I got on the stage, I was like, fuck this. I know who the fuck I am. Like, I'm a badass bitch, and we gonna do this. Definitely. But there was a lot of times where I was like, I want to bail, just because of that uncomfortable feeling. And again, people don't take risks because they don't want to feel uncomfortable. They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to mess up. But you got to do that because that's what shapes you.
Right.
And you have to learn from that. Because if you don't do anything to learn from, you're not going nowhere.
Right. So, for instance, this year, one of my biggest risks I took was I did a retreat to Colombia. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't do those smaller events. Can you imagine if I didn't take those risks? There's tears to this shit of growing. And you might be so scared of something so small, but when you take that risk, you don't know what it's preparing you for.
Right.
You don't know. And I think that's why it's super important when we take even the smallest risk, which if it's like posting, like I had another co-host on a podcast. She's never even, she doesn't post like that herself. And that's preparing her I tell her, like, this is a stage for you to make your debut. So, I mean, when you made your song, did you do it in the intention of performing it? Or did you were like, you know what, I'm just going to make this song and I'll see how I feel from there?
Yeah, I just wanted to get it out there and wanted to get the idea from the paper to actually hearing the song be a thing. And then when I heard it, I was like, I might have a little hit on my hands. And then from there, it just flew. Like, everything was just flowing so well. And I was like, all right, let's actually put a little effort into it. Especially, I feel like nowadays, this is the time to, like, put yourself out there, because you never know what could happen. Like, with social media, with just, the way people are looking for new talent, especially like in the female music industry as well. Like, that whole genre, that whole sector, I should say, is, growing, and they're looking for new talent. And not even just so much for the music industry, it's just mostly for myself, to see what I can do, to push myself, to get out of my comfort zone. Because, like, moving down here, I did a lot of firsts ever. I feel like moving down to Florida was what kicked off. Like, I showcased my art for the first time. That's where I met you for the first time, at the 500 event. Shout out Giovanna, I love you, girl.
Astro Tea Podcast knows her. We had her on.
Oh my goodness, yes, y'all saw her. That's my baby.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the episode, go check it out.
But yeah, so like, I did that. I walked a runway for the first time down here, in body paint. That was really amazing. And just like, I recorded my first song, Sweet, that I released. That's on all platforms as well. Different vibe. It's not a rock song, but you can shake some ass to it if you want to.
I think it's awesome.
But yeah,
island, paradise, summer.
Exactly. So I feel like you really gotta just like, you gotta push yourself into that momentum. And like, once you realize that what you were so scared of really wasn't shit, and that you could do it again, you're just gonna continue to progress, and you're gonna be literally looking for the next risk to take at one point. Because once you break out of that comfort zone, there's no telling where you're gonna go.
Right. But were you really scared to make this move, or were you like so for it, like fuck it?
I was a little scared, yeah, because I'm like, I love my mom, like that's my best friend, and not being around her, and like, my brother, I've kind of always been around him as well growing up, and like my other family, and it was just, and granted, I do have some family on my dad's side here, but it's different. You do have those doubts, because you don't know, like, am I gonna find a job, or be able to afford living down here, or am I gonna get in? Because moving down to Miami, like, they always say, oh, don't get caught up in the life.
You can't come down here broke.
Oh no, you can't come down here broke. And you also gotta have a little bit of self-control, because you will be out every day. You'll be in the strip club every day. You'll be doing all these things. Like, obviously when I first came down here, like, I had fun, I was exploring and I was doing stuff, but there was like that balance. Like, even me like moving to Fort Lauderdale and not in the city of Miami, and after the pandemic, like, forcing me to really take my life serious. Ever since then, like, I mean, it was scary, but I would say every day moving here, even though I went through some shit, like, it's always been better. Like, it gets better and better and better. Obviously, with career choice, there's always those, oh, you should go back to school, you should do this in the medical field, or because I was in school at one point for like physical therapy, and athletic training or whatever, and I realized that that wasn't for me when I wasn't showing up to my lectures and just not giving a fuck, but I would always show up to my art electives. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm not even gonna waste my time, waste my money sitting here and doing this, and it doesn't fulfill me.
Because you are a sports head.
I love sports. That's one thing that did push me to want to do athletic training, because, like, you know what it really was? Very shallow. I wanted to like be an athletic trainer for like a football team and like meet a football player, and we found love, and that was gonna be my story, and I was gonna be a football wife.
A lot of people, their parents make really big risk, and that risk might not be the risk that we think they are, right? They come to this country, they get the safe job, they show up, they get the car, they get the house, and they want you to, do the same. But that's not always the best route. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that they get the STEM job, and then they're still struggling because it's not even as lucrative, and there's a ceiling to a lot of those jobs.
Right.
You can't make bonuses. You can't. There's no incentive. They just want you to show up, and that's it.
And then they're not happy.
Some of the best people, I believe, Shark Tank, for example, there was these two black women, and they had this, I think, lipstick line, and the sharks like literally bit them up, chew them up, spit them out, and was like, this isn't gonna fucking work. Now their brand is in Target, Walmart. They even were petty, and they got like a freaking billboard and was like, what did y'all say?
Okay, because I would do the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Period.
And I feel like, can you imagine if they would have like pulled back from that? Can you imagine if they would have stopped there? Because a lot of businesses that go on Shark Tank, they'll be like, what's your sales? And their sales be like, ooh, million this, 6-figure this. And they'll be like, oh shit, you still got a lot of work to do before you even get to that tier of asking somebody for money and stuff like that. You know, like you still got to put in the work. So someone right there could just like totally back out and be like, oh, but these, you know, these old white people, they told me that this shit is trash. And it's just like, no. Even if the most powerful people told you that that wasn't a good idea, will you still take the risk? I mean, I saw this other story of this couple on TikTok. They had the kids, you know, they had responsibilities, and the dad wanted to open up a vineyard, and they did that. Vineyard failed, right? I think they went bankruptcy. They did it all over again. They stuck with it for years. They were just like going through the timeline, like one of those like TikTok picture swipe story thingies. Girl, they're like one of the best wines out there. I can't tell you the name of the wine, but I was like, damn, knowing me, I would have been like, no, why are you doing that? Like it took even in partnership, like say you're taking a risk with your man.
Yeah.
It takes even you having to be like thugging it out and trusting them. Because I'm sorry, but I'd rather someone, you know, take a risk than someone play it safe and just clock in and die. Now I'm sure she's so happy that she believed in her husband that, you know, even though we tried it once, maybe you might try it twice, we gonna keep going. When there's a will, there's a way, and everything is figure outable.
Yes, honestly, anything is possible. Like nothing is impossible. You just gotta keep trying and keep going after it.
So I want to talk about a risk that Miss FiNessa got me into, and I was like, thank God, talking about trusting other people when they want to risk. We went to see FiNessa.
Oh my God, that's my baby daddy. If you're watching this, Brent, I love you.
I'm so happy you think he's watching it.
Okay, you never know.
Right.
See, this is exactly what got us to where we were about to talk about right now.
Right. And she was like, listen, we're gonna get on the floor. And I was like, I see it.
If I say it, we're doing it.
And
it's gonna happen.
she was like, you gotta be delusional.
Yeah.
And you were like, we're gonna get on the floor, there's a way, and pretty much, Miss Ma'am, do you want to tell people how you did it?
I mean, because it's not a secret, people do it all the time.
And if you're watching the Astro Tea Podcast, you deserve to know.
Exactly. So basically, you get tickets to the show. Like, I don't know how to finesse your way into the building if you don't have a ticket. I'm sorry. Maybe that's another episode when I like, you know, level up my finessing to another tier. But get tickets to the show, nosebleed tickets, spend the least amount of money as possible.
Right.
And then you have to have a mobile ticket for sure, because that's what really does it. But once you have your mobile ticket, you just go on Instagram and you edit your seats and you have it say floor or whatever. But this is the thing, you need to know what the ticket looks like, because some places it'll say general admission, it'll say floor, whatever.
Right.
So you need to know. So I just kindly asked the young gentleman to see his floor ticket. He showed it to me. I made the necessary adjustments. But if you don't have, like, if you can't do that, when you're buying the ticket online, look at what the floor tickets are labeled as.
Right.
And then you can just, like, you know, plug that in your mobile ticket. And once you get in the building, you just flash the guard your ticket and you will be where you need to be. So we got to the floor.
Also, I think it also depends on venue. I don't think you can do that somewhere like the Hard Rock or for Beyonce.
Yes,
like
you probably could.
Oh, Delusion.
It's me. You really. Also, another thing is like these people that are working at these places, like they obviously have to do their job, but they're not gonna fucking tackle you. Like if you act like you know what you're doing and you're just like, this is my ticket. Well, like I'm supposed to be here. Like you gotta play the part too. Like there was that one Netflix thing that they showed of like this one. It was like this. She pretended to be like some famous heiress or whatever, but she was just this broke woman.
I've heard.
Literally, you play the part. No one who's gonna argue with you if you're acting like you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, no one's gonna be like, that's not you.
That's not you, or that's not your ticket. Like you're not supposed to be here. Like no, the shit says floor. What are you gonna zoom in and go and try and no, you're not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be on the floor.
These people are not getting paid any extra or less.
Exactly. They got their own passions and dreams that they're trying to think about right now. They don't, trust me, you gonna get through. There's an art of finessing. Like there's an art to it. Whether it's the good finessing, the bad finessing, whatever finessing, you have to know how to do it. Because if you kind of blow your cover at all, you're done. Like you're not gonna get the same results.
When you blow your cover, you're like, huh? What are you talking about? Like getting.
No, that's if your cover gets blown. You will never. This is the thing. You can't blow your cover. But if your cover gets blown, you need a backup. You need to finesse your way around that shit.
Yeah, I've walked into like VIP and festivals. Like once you like have a all believing that you are deserving of whatever you want, God's gonna give it to you.
Exactly.
Whether you're praying for it, whether you're visualizing it, whether like I think you just speaking about it with me beforehand, like this is what we're definitely gonna get there. That was also part of that alchemy,
for sure.
that magic. What risk have you taken this year?
Me walking the runway. The things that I've been like throwing myself into this year that are making me happy and fulfilling my passion creatively, but that I'm also able to monetize, have been things that I loved doing as a kid. And I feel like I'm tapping into my inner child, because I used to watch America's Next Top Model every day, practice my walk, practice posing in the mirror and doing certain things. And I would even like, when I was younger, I used to make music on my laptop and record myself and then fake perform to my family room from the balcony of my second floor. Like I would do so many things as a kid now that I'm doing. So I would say when I walked the runway at Dare, so I've body paint model, and I love that because it helps me like incorporate the art with the modeling, and it's just been fire. And I just love being free and just being art. And I had that feeling again, like right before I performed this year, that feeling of wanting to bail. Like, damn, I don't have to. Like, it's always optional. Like, you don't ever have to. Nobody's forcing you to do these things, but it's like that feeling of like, okay, just stay in your comfort zone, just watch these girls. But like I forced myself to go up there, and I was so nervous, but I went up there and I realized that it really wasn't as crazy as I was making it seem. And by the time I did my next runway at Dare for another event, I killed that shit. Like, people said I killed it the first time. I obviously had some critiques, but that's the whole point of taking risks, is to learn from your mistakes.
Right. Like that first time, that's the time to get the nerves out. Give yourself the freaking ability to be nervous. Like, it's okay. You're doing something big. Breaking through those barriers, whether you think it's stupid or not.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to be nervous, be nervous. And what's the worst case scenario? You'll get booed. And that's not gonna happen.
You're still gonna be alive.
This isn't no fucking Apollo.
No, for real. We're not gonna womp like your ass off the stage. Nobody's gonna come in with a broom.
Tomato.
The most like you'll get out of that is the shitting on yourself that you do, cause you gotta be your biggest critic. Like, and I listen to myself more than I listen to other people. Like sometimes when it comes to criticism, like it's good to take some shit in, but if I don't like the way it was done or whatever, I'm listening to myself and really being hard on myself. Like, you got to give yourself grace. And I feel like giving myself grace is allowing myself to do those things, pushing myself to do those things. But you got to, you got to do the learning and the dissecting and the processing of that. So yeah, the worst that could happen is some people don't really like it. Okay. And then you got to deal with your own criticism. But after that, girl, you ain't gonna die. Do it again.
Yeah, you either
do better.
Take risks or die. You want to take risk and die.
Happy eventually at the end. I don't want to take the risk to die.
No, not to die.
But and die. No, I know what you mean. Like, yeah.
I think one of my biggest risks this year, just to like hop off like career and stuff, is moving in with my boyfriend. You know, that was a big risk. It's a lot because you're signing a contract. Anytime you're signing a contract and locking something in and it's requiring money, you're gonna really think about that. It's been a beautiful risk because it's been allowing me to see myself and my imperfections and the imperfections of being a relationship, period. Whether it's the healthiest or whether it's toxic, it's not gonna be perfect. You know, you're building something with this person and you can't go anywhere. You know, you can't just bail. I mean, I'm sure people have, but...
Right, I mean, technically you can, but you don't want to do that because, that's just like quitting.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, why quit when something is challenging?
Right.
If there's no disrespect and it's not really bringing me back, like, why, you know? So I bring this up to say, like, a lot of us, we held even ourselves back in getting in the relationship, right? And there's so many options, like choice. We all have choice. And for us to like choose to build something with someone and really like put our heart into it and falling in love is a risk.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Falling in love is such a risk, especially if you're like me and you're scared of rejection and you might have a little daddy issues that creep
just
up.
a little bit of daddy issues, girl. I feel you.
It's so easy to give up.
Oh, exactly.
It's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
But it's not fulfilling.
No. Because you're just going to find yourself in a constant cycle of giving up. But you're not going to ever, like, see something through. Like, and relationships is a big one, too. Like, you mentioning that.
Talk to me, girl. Talk to me.
You know?
She's supposed to spill it.
I just want to spill a little tea today. Well, like, no, I've been through some toxic shit in my life. And it's like, you don't have to go through that. If you do end up going through that, you have to realize what isn't serving you, what you can actually tolerate. You got to relearn your value and your worth because maybe, you know, this relationships took a lot of that out of you, you know?
Right.
And you normalize a lot of shit too. So to be taking the risk to like want to heal and be in a healthy situation, like I was lucky enough to like meet someone that was completely opposite of everything that I was used to. And I noticed that in the beginning I had like a lot of little triggers that would obviously trigger me, but it wasn't happening the same way that it was happening before. So why should I be acting the way that I'm acting?
Right.
And I feel like that it's been really good for me because I've grown from that experience a lot and I've learned to like kind of calm down, dial back and realize that there's a way to maneuver shit without reverting to the toxic crap that I was used to. So yeah, like you gotta take the risk in everything. It might look like I'm playing it safe on the outside looking in, but realistically, this is a risk for me because I'm doing something that I'm not used to, and I'm trying to be a better person here. Like, life.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between knowing when you're being let down and abandoned and disrespected, and knowing when this is triggering you. It requires a certain amount of awareness when a trigger is coming up, and we're human, we're gonna act on those triggers, but it's like, do you gotta pull the trigger every time?
Right, like don't empty the clip. You don't gotta empty the clip out, honey. Like you could have your finger on the trigger for a second, but it's learning to take it off and like putting that bitch on safety real quick and being like,
because some things you can't take back, and like depending on how you act on your triggers, like the things you say, the things you do, right? We've all been there. We've all been young and dumb. We get to a threshold where it's like we have the due responsibility of having our own trigger management. Yeah. And if you don't know how to do that, you have to seek the tools. And that's really an act of self-love, is knowing where we are flawed. And all this stuff is going to help you take risks more. Exactly. And enjoy it more. For sure. Because there's a difference between, this is scary, I don't want to do it, and like, this is scary, and I'm at a point where I'm so confident in my decisions and taking risks that I know it's going to, no matter how it turns out, it's going to be great.
It's going to, exactly. A tip to help you take some risks. Keeping people around you that remind you of who you are and that it is okay to take these risks and that these risks aren't as risky as they seem. Because if you, like we touched on earlier, like if you hang out with people that are like kind of going through shit that's not really keeping you focused or motivating you to be a better version of yourself, you're gonna notice that you're gonna stay in your comfort zone. They probably aren't the people that are gonna push you to take these risks and do different things. They're gonna just want to do the same old shit that they've been doing with you.
And to be on the flip side is to not expect anything. People close to you are not gonna be giving you the validation that you're expecting or that you need. That's what therapy is for. That's what, like taking care of yourself is for.
Right.
Another beautiful thing is when people are connecting with your art, whatever you're doing, don't close yourself off. These are people that are resonating with your work. I mean, like, since you put in your song out, have you met people that have found it on TikTok or Instagram that are like, oh, I fucking like this? Like,
yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen people in the comments say that they need the song, they love the song, it's super catchy. I saw somebody on TikTok make a video to it. I was like, okay,
now my TikTok trend.
Now my first little thing. To one, build that within yourself, and then you have to like seek your tribe. And if that means going out and meeting new people or seeking resources, like do what you think. I work with them, but we're a motivational platform and we help push creatives, entrepreneurs to just go after it and get those
ideas. Oh yeah, that's a real platform?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we get things in motion and we just help get those ideas out of your head. You know what I mean? And we do like daily motivational texts every morning.
Really?
During the weekdays at 8 a.m. So you'll get a little message, and some days they really hit me and I'm just like, Lord, I needed this. Yeah. Those days where my body wants to take over and say, good girl, you don't want to do anything, don't do anything. And I see the message, just like, all right, so like seeking different resources for yourself and other things that'll help you take those risks, do it all.
Knowing that you are not a machine, right? You are a temple, and some days you need rest.
Yeah.
And you have to honor that rest. Like last week I got sick. And I truly believe, because I was on go. I put in that sick day, girl, and I slept all day. My body felt so good the next day. Like, I felt like, damn, like, I think I should be doing that even when I'm not sick. Just like having a day where I do nothing is gonna be way more proactive than feeling like I need to go. So listening to your body. I think when you are a true risk taker, you allow the tips and the gems that the universe puts you on, whether they're being channeled through someone, and you take it with you. And whether that critique is valid then or that might be useful in the future, like, you have to allow, the world to help shape you a little bit.
Right.
And you gotta listen to your audience, because what if your audience, is like, and you're really dropping music and they're like, we prefer this type of song from you than this song, like, you could do whatever you want.
You could do whatever the fuck you want. Okay,
but it's
period.
good to like be open and listen.
Oh, for sure, it is good. I think I've gotten a lot better with taking criticism. I know even though I've gotten better, I still have that little initial feeling of like, bitch, fuck you. Like,
and I still think when you get the criticism and say that is your reaction, right?
That's always my initial, but I'm not gonna say that. My initial feeling, and I feel it overcome my body, because when your body's going through different emotions, like you feel it. So like my initial reaction and feeling is that, but then like I remember that this is needed for growth, and I at least listen and I take it into consideration. I might say fuck all that shit and still do whatever I want to do because that's the type of person I am, but some stuff you're like, okay, all right, let me not be a stick in the mud and just try to just shape everything and be so controlling of everything.
Right. So say the risk is making that big move, or for me, moving in with that partner. You don't just like wake up and take the risk. Sometimes,
right.
Like sometimes you have to prepare for it.
Yeah, preparation is definitely key, whether it's research, whether it's praying and getting yourself right spiritually. Like, God is amazing, and he's gonna do it every time. So just don't go into a situation blind. That's one thing. Like, you're gonna take a risk. Like, I'm gonna jump off this building, but like, oh, let me go jump off the one that there's a little pond underneath, and I feel like I could, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because it's smarter to do that at first.
Exactly. So definitely, that was such a crazy analogy. I do not promote jumping off of buildings.
Don't do
that. Don't do whatever you want to do right there. Okay.
But risks are leaps.
They definitely are leaps. So jump.
This is metaphor.
Jump off that building, boo. But if you gotta jump off the building with the water underneath it first, jump off that one first and get your feet wet.
Right.
It's like if I moved down here and I didn't look up what area I wanted to be in, if I didn't even have any apartments to look at before I came down here, if I didn't make sure granted, we gave ourselves 2 weeks and we just were in an Airbnb, but we had a list of places that we wanted to stay and stuff. Like, we got the Airbnb, we didn't just drive down and just living out of our cars, you know what I mean? So I'm
sure you saved.
Oh, for sure. And we was making that pandemic money, y'all. The pandemic was a great time.
It was an amazing time.
Stacking up those unemployment checks. So,
I see you.
Oh, girl.
I feel like self-care is another one, because everything's connected. So when we are not taking care of ourselves and our health, we're eating just whatever we can. It's cheap, it's there, but it's not fueling us, and we're not really thinking that these things are valuable. No, like, health is definitely important. When I'm not taking care of my health, I'm not able to think rationally. I'm not able to be in a space to where I'm enjoying the risk.
Right.
You know, like, because you want to enjoy this shit too, right? So definitely take care of your health, y'all. Drink your water.
Just drink that. Just drink your water. Okay? Do a little workout here and there. Stay active.
Right.
But, mind, body, and soul.
Right.
Get those 3 things right, and you will be okay to move however you need to move.
But be okay with trying new things. For instance, you collabed with me on an acting scene.
Yes.
Euphoria. I think it went amazing. There was a lot of bumps in the road. Like, we thought we were gonna go film at the swap shop, and then day of, our makeup's done, everything's done. It's the only day for us to do it. It's closed, and we're like right there. We're thinking of a different place, and we allowed ourselves to keep going, because right there we could have bailed, right? You said there's always room to bail.
For sure. There's always room to bail. Bailing is the easiest thing to do.
Right. So I think that was actually, you have to be okay with divine intervention. I think that was divine intervention. The universe was like, actually, I don't think that's a good spot. This spot is better. And then when we got to that spot, we were like, it's fucking loud in here. How's anyone gonna hear us? Like, and then not only that, y'all, I don't know if any of y'all acted, but you have to be able to act, right? So you can't show all that discomfortability on your face.
Yeah, the frustration.
Whether you're getting on stage, whether you're acting, when you're in the go, you have to
turn that shit on.
You gotta turn that shit on. You gotta turn everything else off. So we figured it out. We recorded it later. I mean, people were really telling me this is amazing production. Like, a lot of people thought,
oh my god,
nobody knew we recorded it over anything. Oh my god. Yes.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I was frustrated during that whole process. But after looking at it, when it was done, I was like, okay, it turned out into something.
Yeah, and a lot of things that I've done have been the stepping stones to that moment. In that moment right there, that scene could be the stepping stones to something huge.
Oh, for sure.
Everything
is just, you can always expand, build on, and just do better. Don't want to ever just stay the same. You want to progress a little bit. So do a little bit better every time. Yeah.
Right. Give yourself the room to suck.
You got to get the shitty paintings out before you can get the Picassos out.
The Picassos, which, let's talk about Picassos. She has made all this art on the wall. We haven't really talked about your art.
Oh my goodness, yes. I do paint or two.
Yeah, that's how we met. She was bending her painting, and I saw that big, beautiful poom poom spread open with the art out. That's a piece of her art. Yeah. It's actually like 2 legs and it's open, and there's just like this heaven inside.
That piece will be dropping probably 2024. We'll see what happens with that. But that's like a really, really, really
I need merch.
a lot's coming. Do it all. when it comes to paintings. I don't try to limit myself to one style. So I've done portraits, I've done the abstracts, I've done the pop arts, I've done, the realisms and things like that. But I focus on glow-in-the-dark pieces. I feel like if you're going to have...
Show the people the glow-in-the-dark.
Oh my goodness, where did it flashlight? Okay, so really quick. So all of my pieces, like you'll see them in one light. But at nighttime, these aspects definitely glow.
So it looks so cool in your room. Huh? Ooh, that one too.
This one, you can't really see it as much, but I would say mostly this one. You can see the most of it. But yeah.
And you just hosted like a paint and sip.
I did. I hosted one at FAU. That was really fun.
We need more of those.
Yes, I'm going to be hosting like my own, and I want to do like black light themed because
I would love to collab with you.
I really enjoy just like, if you're going to have art on your wall, it should transform your space during the day and at night and in different lightings. Like if you have LED lights in your room, like I have LED lights in my room and these paintings look crazy. Now where I am now, I'm kind of focusing on music a little bit more, so I haven't been super in. Yeah, but
I've never known an artist to just do one thing.
Yeah, it just flows. But I noticed that I'll make a song, it'll motivate me to paint something, and I'll go to the studio, it'll motivate me to like, okay, I want to sketch some shit like as I'm here right now, or I'll make a painting that makes me want to make a song. So like it all just like flows together. But painting is like my first creative love. I remember growing up and thinking that I couldn't draw or do anything like that, and then like I would look at other kids in school that would like be sketching, and I'm just like, these motherfuckers, like I wish I was good as them. And then like I just really tried it. Like when I moved to Boston, I was working at this thing called Artists for Humanities. They were teaching kids how to do art. They had a paint studio, sculpture studio, photography. Like it was really dope. But it was like to like keep kids off of the streets or whatever. I wasn't in the streets, y'all, but I would make my little $8 an hour to pay for my weed. But it was cool, and it just got me into like, I took that risk to just see how it was and see how I could actually do, and I realized that I was pretty good at it. That's like my biggest thing with risk. Like when you actually take it, you really realize that this really isn't as scary as you thought it was. Like do that shit, and then you don't know what world that you're opening up for yourself. So I did that. I collabed with some artists. I took the risk of asking an artist, Art Larea, she's awesome, she's a Haitian artist as well, to collab on some pieces. Well, not even collab, I just like wanted to just like, just see her. And she was like, well, do you want to help me out with some stuff? And then we ended up collabing, and I learned a lot of technique from her. And just, yeah. So my art is like definitely my first love. Definitely express a lot.
So what you're saying is closed mouths don't get fed.
Closed mouths don't ever get fed.
You
okay.
Gotta speak up.
You gotta
ask for help.
Take that risk. Ask for help. Like learn. Feed yourself. Like, because nobody's gonna do it for you at the end of the day. No one's gonna be like, you need to do this. There might be people in your life that wanna force feed, growth into you. But if you're not gonna go get it for yourself.
Yeah, and I think no matter how skilled you are at something, you're still gonna be asking for help. So that's definitely something you gotta get over, because the more professional, the more equipped, the more skilled you get, you're gonna be asking investors, right, for some money. And you have to be able to know how to ask. You're gonna be asking sponsors, and you have to ask. Like 9 times out of 10, you have to ask for the opportunity when you're putting out your job resumes. You have to ask. People are not gonna come to you and be like, oh my God, it's you. Yes. Like,
right.
No.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's more of a numbers game, but the more you get comfortable with asking, because you know you deserve it and you shall take what you deserve, you'll be straight. So, Astro Tea Podcast, if you're listening to the end here, we appreciate you so much. And if this message really called onto you, feel free to comment, to rate the podcast today. Tell everyone where they need to find you.
Yes, y'all can find me on Instagram and TikTok at FiNessa Jeans. So that's FiNessagene. I'm on TikTok a lot, doing a lot of stuff. You're gonna see a lot more of my personality on TikTok than on Instagram. And I feel like everyone is like on that wave of like Instagram is Instagram. But TikTok is TikTok. The girls that get it. There you can find all of my music on all platforms. Go listen to whatever. Go listen to Sweet. Go listen to a song that I'm featured on with my brother. He also makes music as well. But that's all everywhere.
And please follow and subscribe to the Supernovajazz YouTube channel, where you will find the Astro Tea Podcast playlist. You can find Astro Tea Podcast on Spotify, Apple, and stay connected with us, y'all, because we're taking risks and we're growing. And don't forget to stay present, stay grateful, and thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Oh my God, whatever I like, whatever I want.